Chapter 4 Miss Adorn Lumber Tree. Pacifica and Wendy followed the trail that leads to the tree chopping. Lucky for them, Christmas lights above them bathed the path in a gentle glow, giving them more feel to the holidays. The people in Gravity Falls agreed to cut down trees only for this year until a few years later to ensure the health of the forest. If you want to know how miserable it was for me to not have a Christmas tree, my dad taught me and my brothers that Christmas lights can cause fire no matter what type he saw, Wendy spoke. He's not wrong, mostly, but it's not a big fire hazard, Pacifica added. He at least went inside one house that had a tree filled with decorations, right? He never went to Gravity Falls during the Christmas season unless it was for food or a real emergency. Wendy then remembered how non-stop hard Decembers were, but the latter never happened if one of us needed one. Was last year your breaking point? Almost, since like you, I never got the chance to open my own gifts. Your dad really spent too much money on training. You would not believe what it's like when my brothers are on board, since I was like them until the more and more Christmas has grown on me. It makes my childhood seem more wasteful than meaningful. Wendy then slowly shed a tear in her eye. Except it was still important at the end of the day. Pacifica took notice of Wendy's tears and her tone of voice. I couldn't argue how my dad always says, nothing is never more important than the religious organization, including Christmas. Yes, Pacifica's tone slowly became sadder, but it never appealed to the Christians who spent their time watching me sing. This caused Wendy to stop in place as Pacifica took notice. Wendy, sorry, it's just I don't think your commitment was that terrible. You know it's worse when I don't get any reward, even as the most popular girl in Gravity Falls. You were the most popular girl. Please don't push it. It's not mean when it's true. Pacifica couldn't retort even if she wanted to. If she was still the most popular girl, she would have gotten more attention in the festival, but her parents would never be out of her way since they always followed her during big events. She took a deep breath, breathing in the cold air, fresh air to hold any more tears. Let's please go. I hope at least this makes us feel better. We're really killing our holiday chill, aren't we? They went back to walking on the trail after passing 3/4 of the way to their destination. Eventually, they see the light at the end of the trail with a family walking past them. They used their wagon to pull the tree they cut down, but Pacifica remembered in the pamphlet they needed a wagon to take home a tree. So, no, I'm not taking the Christmas tree home, but it's not the end of the world. Okay, let's see what they're doing. As they arrived at the tree chopping, the whole opened area was filled with Christmas lights from all colors, along with people waiting in line to cut their own trees. They waited at the end of the line while witnessing a man cutting down a tree from a distance. This doesn't feel as big as I thought it would be, a Pacifica watching the tree tipped over. Maybe there's more going on further away. Wendy looked closely up the hill. I think there was a big tree up there. I haven't been in this spot, so maybe when we get our turn, they could tell us. They did show us the prices of the small and medium sizes, but big sizes were never mentioned. For some time, with tree after tree getting chopped, they went to the front of the line, walking up to the person in charge in the area. Welcome to tree chopping, he greeted Pacifica and Wendy. We have many types of axes for you to cut down any tree you want. I have one question, Wendy said. Are we allowed to cut down big trees? Yes, however, we don't want a lot of them to be cut down. We keep them at a high price if anyone's willing to take a big tree to the place. How much does a big tree cost? Pacifica asked. $300 plus $100 for shipping the tree to your place. The price is unbelievable, but justified. Smaller trees cost about $15, while medium-sized trees cost $50 to $70 depending on the size. I'm not planning on taking a tree home. What about the tree we cut down? Wendy wondered. We take them over where we put the rest of the trees. He pointed at the wide, narrowed trails, with most of the trees left behind. There's not a lot, but we're not expecting everyone to keep their tree here. Pacifica saw that there was only a couple of big trees, with one of them getting decorated with the lights. When she turned back to the hill, there's a slight chance there could be a tree bigger than that. She reached into her wallet after taking it out while giving the person $300. We want to cut down the biggest tree we can find, Pacifica replied. As long as you find a sign that says you're allowed to cut it down, more power to you both. He took the money for Pacifica while reaching in his box of axes. He reached out, a huge axe with strong blades as it took Wendy's attention. I don't think I can carry that, Wendy having second thoughts. This is the only way to cut down those big trees if that's what you want. He hands her the axe. Wendy manages to hold it in with her arms, but she's unsure if she's gonna use it. Go on, he opens the gate for them. Let's go, Pacifica. They moved past the gate while walking up the hill. Wendy had a difficult time carrying the axe whilst trying not to drop it. If there's one thing she'll give her dad credit for how strong he is, he always carries any type of axe, including the big ones. Aside from the small ones she always carries along, her dad keeps the big ones for himself every time he cuts down big trees. As they went to the top of the hill, they witnessed several tree stumps while more trees were still intact in the back. It's a good thing they have lights up here, otherwise I don't think they'll allow us to find a tree outside of this spot. Pacifica looking at the stumps. What we see is what we get, Wendy painted. The two split up, walking in the back of the hill to find any big trees they could cut down. After walking past the trees with the signs of small and medium, they came across the big trees with the signs labeling them big. Okay, which tree to cut down? Pacifica paid attention to the sizes of the trees. She only saw a couple of big tree stumps while the less lights appeared. Come on, just one big great tree. Wendy chooses wisely with the type of trees different from each other. The trees are Norway spruce, always the perfect tree type to set up and decorate it. If Wendy managed to find the tree she really wanted, she would have shared it with her family if they ever cared about Christmas. Both Pacifica and Wendy came together to witness the final tree. It was bigger, while also higher to the point it requires a fireman ladder to place a star on the top. The two looked at the tree itself. They know there's no chance to bring it to Wendy's place even if they tried. But it was the perfect tree. You wanna cut down this tree? Pacifica asked. Yes, Wendy replied. But she tried to lift her axe, but it wasn't enough for her to swing it. This axe is too heavy. Come on, Pacifica, taking a few steps back. I'm sure you're strong enough to use this axe. Cut the tree down. Wendy wanted to believe Pacifica if she actually lifted weights to get stronger, but it's her Christmas moment of many tonight to make it happen. Okay. She placed the end of the axe on the ground. She took out her water bottle to take a drink, more than enough to regain what she lost after coming uphill. She put her water bottle away while grabbing the hilt of her axe with both hands. Just move out of the way if the tree falls down towards you. No problem. Wendy took a deep breath while lifting her axe up and swung it against the tree. She pulled it out as it landed on the ground again. Do you think you can handle this? Pacifica asked. I hope, Wendy answered. I can do this without my dad. She lifted the axe up again while swinging it against the tree again. She was sweating with the strength she's using to cut down the tree, thanks to the sharpened blades on the axe. It almost went halfway through the tree. If Dipper or Maple did this, it'll take them longer to cut this tree down. With that axe? No, they wouldn't work together to use this axe, including Soos. For how short I am, I won't be able to help them. Be thankful your parents hate lumberjacks. They would probably at least have one tree fall on them on the first day, right? Wendy smiled. Pacifica tried to decide with her parents as much as she could, however, she couldn't disagree with Wendy. You're growing a smile. I still love my family, don't you? No, but I don't hate them. Okay, I don't love them, but I wouldn't be here without them. When you're my age, you know how I'll feel when being born isn't the gift for everything. Pacifica knew she had a better life thanks to her parents, but in the state she's in now, wealth is no longer a life-saving even with the money she has left. They never took anything I say for granted. I took them for granted. Taking stuff for granted is the last thing you should do, believe me. As Wendy took another deep breath, she lifted her axe back and swung it against the tree. After pulling back, the tree itself started to tip, catching Wendy and Pacifica's attention. They backed away as the tree fell on the ground, causing a big impact. Wendy placed the axe on the floor, smiling as she succeeded. Now that's an accomplishment I never got at the Lumberjack games. They forbid you from cutting a tree like that? Pacifica wondered. No, my dad forbid me to keep his record of axing down the biggest tree. Yeah, that's something my mom or dad would do to keep their records. Be thankful they never took part in the Olympics. If they were never snobs like you, Wendy rubbed on Pacifica's head, causing Pacifica to slightly laugh. They went back to the bottom of the hill, getting some assistance to move the tree they cut down. With more than 10 people willing to assist, they moved the tree past the wide, narrowed trail, straightening it on the tree stand in the center of the area. Thanks to the assistants pulling the tree with the ropes. Now time for the best part. The person handed Pacifica and Wendy 2 boxes of lights and ornaments separately. Decorate your whole tree and give it a name, he smiled. After receiving the boxes, Pacifica and Wendy decorated the whole tree by themselves. It took them a while to put everything on, but they got used to it, speeding up the process to save time when they leave. Pacifica found the ornaments perfect, even though they're not the most polished ornaments in the world. She never realized how colorful they are during her performances in charity. Then again, the ornaments she remembered were polished, but not colorful enough to lift people's Christmas spirit. Okay, that's the end of the lights, Wendy smiled while getting on the ground. And that's the last ornament, Pacifica added. You wanna do the honors? The person handed Wendy the remote. I would. She received the remote, but I'm having my friend do it. Really? Pacifica looked up at Wendy. Yeah, come on, press it. After taking the remote, Pacifica slowly pressed the button as the tree itself lit up with all the colors and ornaments shining. Wow. Pacifica's eyes sparkled. Thanks for paying $300 for this, Wendy smiled. Yeah, so magical. Sorry there's no star to put on top, we're all out, the person said. It's fine, it's the decorations we wanted, Wendy responded. What do you want to call your tree? With one more goal, simpler than the last, Pacifica came up with the first name. Miss, she spoke. Adorn? Lumber a tree, Wendy called as the person rolled it down on the piece of paper. Miss Adorn Lumber a tree, he responded. That's a great name. Adorn stands for more beautiful, and that's a really beautiful Christmas tree. Can't get any more beautiful than that, Wendy agreed. As the person placed the piece of paper in front of the tree, he played the song Walking Around the Christmas Tree from the portable CD player. Wendy declined to sing, so to Pacifica, who's still mesmerized from the tree itself. With or without the song, nothing could ruin her first Christmas moment of setting up a tree with tons of Christmas decorations, especially since she helped Wendy achieve her dream. But her night at the Christmas festival in Gravity Falls is just getting started.